Welcome. So happy to see you all here. I am live coming to you with the 411 and the craziness of the energies today. Hmm. Feeling a little out of sorts. Woke up this morning. I was a little out of sorts. Um, my alarm went off really early this morning. And instead of getting up, which I should have done, I went back to sleep. Um, and then had some crazy dreams. Just all I woke and then when I woke up from the dream, all I got was, "You're releasing, you're releasing, you're releasing." And I'm like, "Oh," but it felt so heavy, and it felt angry, and it felt frustrating. So, I guess what I'm releasing is a lot of anger and a lot of frustration. There's a lot there to unravel. And it's this low grade feeling with inside me. I don't know if you all have it, but I know I certainly have it. So, you know, not that I want to share that feeling with you. I just want to let you all know this is where I'm coming from today. So, we're searching deep, to why you are here. That's what Pluto message is. That's the deepness of the last 15 years of Pluto and Capricorn is what your mission is. What are you here to create? What are you here to do? And with that opposition to Mercury was trying to give you the message, but sometimes it might have been really overly whelming, is that it was too much. It was too much of information, too much of a message. If I go back to 2008, where was I in 2008? Well, I was here in Calgary working at different muggle jobs. And because we moved here in 2007, within 2008, I think was I at Centera yet? Or was I, because I left, we moved in April, got the job. No. Yeah, maybe I was at Centera, like working at a, trying to keep things together, like doing things to keep things together. And this is the thing is like, we're always trying to keep things together, always trying to keep things together. And with the moon in Taurus, it's exalted today and it's snuggled up to lovely Jupiter. So it is expanding our light and our truth. And to remember the internal is a reflection of our external, right? So what's going on? What are we feeling with inside ourselves? This is all, coming into the sun, sun being in Cancer, it's emotional. So there's a lot of emotional energies that are coming forward. And with the opposition with Pluto, Capricorn, finding out our mission. And Mercury's trying to show us what that mission is, show us what that energy is. And in showing us or trying to show us what that is, I mean, it could be feeling a lot because now Mars has gone into Virgo, making things happen in a new way. This is not just yet. We're not just yet. We are not in it fully. We have the North Node isn't in Aries. That's going to be coming up, and Mars is in the sign that is ruled by Mercury. So we're trying to figure out the information of the direction that we need to go to and try to, this is not, well, you know, that heartfelt, here I am, I'm the Leo, here I go, that's Mars, right? And with Mercury going into Leo, this is bringing in a lot of, energies of information, wanting to focus on how to make us feel good. What is the best way to make us feel good so that we can really move through a lot of this energy and move into a different perspective? And that's where with the moon and with Jupiter there, it's about making things happier. And we have the moon is sextiling over to Saturn, giving the ability on how and what we need to flow, what is working, what isn't working, how can we flow with this energy and not get lost in it and not getting caught up in the ego mind. Oh, you should do this, you should do that, it should look like this, it should look like that. Our mind wielding these crazy abstract ideas, and we're trying to grab hold of these crazy abstract ideas because that's, oh my god, that's the way it's supposed to be, oh my god, that's the way it's supposed to be. And it's like, it's not. So this is new territory, and it's not going to look the way that you want it. And over the next 7 weeks, especially with Mars in Virgo, and is going to be opposing both Neptune and Saturn, there's conflict with restrictions, what we want the dream to look like, and the little things that we have to make adjustments, and not being heard, not being, this is not going to be, this is going to be hard, because we're going to be having to expect it to be a certain way. We want it to be a certain way. We want everything to look a certain way, but it's not going to. It's not going to. And this is going to be where we have to making these adjustments, and things are really, making these adjustments on really what's important and what matters, but not getting hung up on the craziness of our ego. Our ego is the one that's going to get us really lost in some kind of abstract ideas of the way that we believe things are needing to look, how we are needing to learn things, how we are needing to process things. This is about actual things that matter in your life, actual things that are expanding in your life. And it feels different if you're, when you're expanding, it's going to be feeling different. It's not going to be feeling the way that you want it to feel. It's going to feel totally different. This is energies that we've never been in before. And this is bringing in huge transformation and changes within our own selves and within the world around us. And how are we going to work with this? How are we going to weave with this? How are we going to allow ourselves to adjust with this new landscape that's laying out before us? And it's going to be uncomfortable. And we have never been, as I said, in this energy. And whatever shift it's making, you have to find that happiness. You have to allow for that happiness to come in. And even if it feels like a pile of poo, just a pile of poo, you got to say, okay, how can I find the happiness in this poo? How can I find the happiness in these adjustments? As I'm creating a new world for myself, I'm creating a new idea of what I have been searching for. Right. So that search, it's like, searching for what it is that you are wanting to do. And Mars is not in Leo, so it's not the courage of the heart, but whether or not to accept the changes and make the changes and make the adjustments as the changes are happening, right? So we have the trines, with Mercury making the trines to the North Node and the South Node. It's not time to destroy things. This is bigger. This is what this is bigger. This is overinflating. Jupiter can overinflate things. This can be a very overinflated time. And we are at some critical degrees and some gnarly energies that are coming in that want us to step into power, and what that power looks like and what that power could be. And sometimes we have an idea of what power is, and we think power is always corrupt, but it's not that power is corrupt. It's that the people who have power, the people who seem to have power, haven't dealt with their shadows. So there's a lot of fear within themselves, within how they've been treated throughout their life. So hanging on to this power is and wielding it in a negative way are people wielding their negative, their shadow side at us, and the way that they believe their shadow is. And this is why we want enlightened people wielding power. This is why we want people who are standing within their light to wield it. And I think the nature of power is to expose all undigested and unprocessed shadow. And it makes it easy to get caught up in the lower three chakras. It makes it easy to get caught up in everything, the fear, the desires, and the abuse. And how we see the abuse of the power. And this energy is saying that we have to step into the new changes for ourselves, the adjustments, as those changes are happening, right? Stepping into a lot of the changes and find the joy, find the happiness that's within them. And sometimes that's not an easy feat, right? It's not easy to find that happiness. So there is, especially with the nodes, and the nodes are currently transitioning into the fiery way, right? And into that fire. So the combusta challenges us to look at and face our deepest shadows and face the deepest pain, so that we can move through it and not stay there, not be stuck. This is very karmic. Right now, the nodes are reversed from 1939. The karmic south node is in Scorpio. Heading to Libra, right? And this is where we can choose differently from the past. We don't have to choose the same thing. Pluto squaring the nodes offers us a chance to look at things differently. Back in 39, he was opposite them, bringing in these oppositions. So these nodes offer us a chance to choose differently. And one offer is to, as we choose differently from what it was in the past, to face our shadow and choose a new path forward. There is that energy. We can choose something totally different. We don't have to go into that energy. We could choose something that is inventive and loving and more caring. And with Jupiter in Taurus and sextiling Juno in Cancer, it's a great time to commit to our inner work, the emotional work, the healing. With tomorrow morning, the sun will square Chiron in the nodes, and we're going to be feeling that. We're going to be feeling that real gnarly kind of energy as the nodes are changing into a new sign. So pay attention to where your wounds and pains are and running you. And instead of fusing with them or collapsing into them, acting out on them, step back and give them some space and take a look at it. It's just like with all those crazy dreams that I had last night, getting me, into a panic mode or getting me into some crazy mode and waking up with this anger. And I'm looking at this anger. What is this anger from? Anger is from the disappointment I may have within my own self, thinking that I could be somewhere else. Could be doing something different, and it you look at it and it just pisses you off. And the dream is, bringing you these visualizations of someone else stepping into that role that you feel you should have had, or you should have, or you think you should have, but you're not there because it's not within your alignment to be there. You've been pushed out of there. There's a reason. If you want to squeeze back into that, something else crazy is going to happen. And it might be worse because that's not where your energy is supposed to be. It's just that you're comfortable there. You're comfortable in doing that because you've always done that. But it's in that comfort. It's like, wielding that energy within you because there's a part of you, that shadow part of you, that you haven't dealt with. That part of fully trusting in your divine, trusting and putting that devotion into that of your service and allowing for you to step into it. And that's scary. We're not raised that way. We're not raised in this world. We're not raised to understand our true dharma, our unpaid dharma. As young kids, we're asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? I always wanted to be a movie star. I want to be an actress. And I was told you can't be an actress because they don't make money. Well, I want to do something else. I want to do, something artsy or whatever. No, you can't do that. You got to do something else. So I've never known what I wanted to do, right? It's like, oh, okay, well, maybe I'll be a nurse. No, that didn't work out. Maybe I'll be a teacher. No, that didn't work out either. A secretary or something. So easiest thing was to go into retail, right? Was good at making coffee, so might as well go make coffee, right? But then it's like at your deepest core, it's like, is that really where you want it to be? And you got to start thinking, no, I'd rather be doing the things that I love to do, and that's my spiritual self. Remember years ago, grade 7. And in grade 7, we went to school part-time because our school burnt down at the end of grade 6. So for the rest of the year in grade 6, we went to school part-time. And then grade 7, for the whole year, was school part-time. And we had to write down, and they were talking to us about our values and what was important to us. And they wanted to write down, I don't know if it was 10 or 5 or whatever, right, of values. I was the only kid in the class that wrote down God as my number one value. I wrote down God. And when I wrote down God, everybody looked at me and they laughed. And I'm, oh, well, I guess I can't have that as a value. And as a kid in grade 7, you're getting laughed at is just like the worst thing because I wasn't a normal kid. I was a little bit quirky and, just awkward. like all kids that age. But and then I wrote down family was number 2. And the teacher at the time, we had several teachers that year. The one teacher at the time said that was a very prominent thing that people wrote like 20 years ago. And that was me in grade 7. So that was many moons ago. And I'm thinking if that was then 20 years ago, that people did not think 20 years, it was more than 20 years ago. It was like close to 40 years ago, 50 years ago. Yeah, it was, close to 50 years ago. That people didn't think God was number one. Crazy, right? Now, when people put down their values, will they put God at number one? And I think that's where, with this energy, as we're coming into something that is different, and we got to look at what are our top values. Many will put family, some will put money, and that's fine. That's where, with God, I just said, okay, I can't have God. I'll put money up there because everybody else was putting money up there because I thought that's what you're supposed to put up. And then chasing that value, What is the chasing of value? Because the money, the wealth, the worth of what you feel that worth is only a fraction of the pie. It's not the full prosperity pie. Your spirituality is a part of that pie. Your relationships are a part of that pie. Your health is a part of that pie. And your financials are a part of that pie. So this is where you start looking at, okay, maybe my values are changing. And especially with Mars going into Virgo, because Virgo wants everything perfect. Here's that perfection, right? I need to have things perfectly. I need to have things in a certain way. I need to have ba 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 ba. Their mind is going, and it's just like, no, I need to have it in the way that I need to create the happiness and the joy. So my number one value is God. Having God in my life and God in my center is the direction for me. And I have to adjust to that change and what that looks like. And it's scary because I have ideas of what that means, right? What does that mean to have God as my number one value? Does that mean I got to be poor for the rest of my life? Does that mean I'm going to be wearing burlap bags and on the side and being a beggar? Those are some of the concepts of it, right? Those are the craziness that we have been embedded with. Or it's the person who has God in their life, or do they really have God in their life, has a glass crystal church chapel, and people roll up in the thousands, hundreds of thousands, and that person is bringing you God. Is that God in your life? It's the definition that you are going to create of it and you're going to make of it. Or choosing differently and choosing a different path than what we did in 1939. It's choosing a path that brings us to a happier outcome. Happier outcome is not war. Happier outcome is not World War III. Trust me, it's not. We all know that. A happier outcome is family, is community, is connection, is being of service, and allowing yourself to be of service. And even asking, yes, I want to be of service. Dear Divine Mother, allow me to be of service to you. I wrote this down the other day. Divine Mother, bless us with the opportunity to be of service. And can we serve you enough to meet our needs? Can we serve you enough to meet our needs? And the goddess is like, yeah, I could do that for you. You're going to be of service of me. You're going to talk about me. You're going to bring me that light, and you're going to allow for other people to have that light shine within them. Yeah, that's being of service. That's my service. That's part of my service. But then I ask, can I serve you and have enough to meet my needs? Being open to that. I'm not asking for anything extra. I'm just allowing. I'm opening up to that allowing. So that means I'm opening up to show me the opportunities to be of service and showing and serving enough, serving enough to meet my needs. But being of service is helping others when they have a problem. What does that mean? What does that look like for me, for you, if you are wanting to do that? This is feeling good about yourself. It's a good thing. Feeling good about yourself when it becomes an issue, when it's conditional or external feedback. If you are wanting, I need this feedback. No, I don't need the feedback. My ego is going to say, yes, I do need a feedback, because I need to know that somebody's hearing me and blah, blah, blah. Right. But maybe I don't. I don't. But we all have that ego within us, and we all have to allow ourselves to honor that ego, because we all want to be heard. We all want to be understood. We all want a pat on the back and saying we did a job well done. So being of service to something or a person, a group, a community, a cause, or a belief means that you've chosen to engage without expectations or repercussions, reciprocation. You're doing this because you just love to do it. That's why you're doing it. You're not looking for anything. You're not looking for an ulterior motive, right? That's the thing. If you're reaching out to step in to be a friend to somebody, to be a companion to somebody who's maybe alone or lonely, you're not looking at anything in return. You're just looking at, I'm just being here. That's part of being of service. But being of service requires an alignment within your values. If your choice is to be of service is costing you more, then that's not being of service. And here we have, because Virgo is the service sign. Virgo is the sign of service. That's what it is. It's the only sign in the astrology that has a woman. And you got to think, astrology is what, 7,000 years old plus? So it's the only sign in the zodiac with a woman. So here we have, it's the shafting, it's the wheat, harvesting of that wheat and bringing that forward. And that's what we got to look at. What are we wanting to be of service? Because the other thing is that, because it's the 6th house and it is of service, it's also your health house. How is this making you healthy? How is this directing you to be more filled with life, more filled with happiness? Because Mars is coming in, and Mars is making an opposition to Saturn. What is Saturn? Saturn is the Lord of karma. Saturn doesn't have to be nice. What Saturn wants you to do is wants you to pull up your big girl and big boy panties and start growing up and getting the job done. He wants to show you that, hey, you know what? Doing what you're doing is just going to add another 3 or 4 lifetimes onto it. We've learned that when he did a conjunction with Pluto, because he was saying, if you want to do that shit, hey, we're trying to show you a new way. We're trying to get you to think in a new way, because Pluto in there is trying to let you know, hey, do you know where you want to go? Do you understand what you have been searching for so deeply? And Saturn's there. Yeah. Have you been really looking deeply within inside yourself to see what it is that you truly want and what your mission is? Or are you flip-flopping because you're so fucking afraid if I don't have it, because I've made my value something other than what I should have made my value? Because I'm afraid of what? Afraid of what? Afraid of that external. Afraid of somebody saying something that I don't want to hear. It's like when people ask me what I do, and it's like, oh, well, I'm a psychic medium, spiritual love of life coach, and an astrologer. People are like, whoa, that's a lot. Yeah. Is it? No, it's not a lot. Anybody can do that. That's what I say. Anybody can do that. You just have to tap in. You have to listen. But it's stepping into that. If you, at your heart's desire, are so happy creating art or so happy creating something, but you've been told no, you can't do that because it's not going to make you money. Or you have so many excuses in your past because it didn't make you money. Because money has been the value, not the creating. And I know that for myself. So now I'm changing it, and it's fucking hard, because it is where I knew that was what it was. But in switching it over, that means I have to trust. That means I have to step into the goddess. I have to bring in Lakshmi. I have to bring in Ganesh. But what does that mean to embody them? What does that mean to bring them in? That means to be of service. That means maybe once a month or once every 2 months, gathering people, feeding them, having funness, time together. That's what it is. But it's not where you are going to, be of service is costing you more. That's not what the gods and the goddesses want. They don't want it to cost you more. They don't want to see you in the burlap bag begging on the side of the road. That's not what they want. So that, then you can afford, if it's taking you financially, emotionally, or physically in some way, or spiritually, you need to make a new choice. And that's the same way with your work. If your work is taking that away from you, and my work was, but it was bringing me something that I felt that I needed, you know, but it's making the sacrifice, and being of service is a noble and honorable thing to do, unless you do it because you want people to notice how noble you are. Right? I want people to notice how beautiful, look at how spiritual I am. No. Like I just love when I see people doing that. I'm like, no. It's like, no. You want to show people, "Oh, look at how great I am." No. I'm no greater, no better than anybody else. And then when you take that and you take that to heart and you start saying, "Yeah, I'm not any better than anybody else. Everybody has something to teach me, good, bad, or different. Sometimes I may not want to hear it, but everybody has something to teach me, and I have something to teach others." And if we allow for that, and we allow ourselves to be the student and to be the teacher at the same time, we're opening ourselves up to so much more. And that's where the energy is. That's what Mercury was trying to tell us as it opposed Pluto. But Pluto is like, whoa, are you getting it? Because he's the subconscious. He's the deepness and bringing us that subconscious. So you can feel great about a difference you have made. Just don't conflate the differences with the choice to be of service. And intention is all. What is your intention to it all? We're searching deeply. We're stepping into this energy, and we can change things into a new direction if we really, truly want to. But sometimes we get lost in the fear. If people all got grounded on this earth at the same time, all of a sudden they will start looking at things in a totally different view. All of a sudden you'll be seeing the things that you didn't see before. All of a sudden you're going to be seeing the child that needs to be rescued. All of a sudden you're going to be seeing the person that needs to be fed. All of a sudden you're going to be seeing, why are we building that building? Do we need another one? Why are we using up that land and not creating gardens and teaching people how to do that? Bringing forth positiveness with our livestock. Oh, grounding can be a good thing, and that's what part of that kriya that I do. It's like connecting with your lower 3 chakras, connecting with the root chakra, right? Connecting with that energy, that red rock, that deepness, and allowing ourselves to come deep within that. It's part of this Virgo energy with this Mars, with Mars being in Virgo, and Mars being in Virgo, he's in Mercury's house. And as the nodes go into Aries, we are wanting to make a new choice into our desires, into our values. And Jupiter's going to inflate either way you want to do it. That's what he's doing. He's making hyperinflation. Inflation is going to go through the roof over the next year to 2 years with Jupiter in Taurus. But great things can happen during that time. New things can evolve during that time. It's how we are going to direct and wield our power into our direction. It's not going to be easy, but we can do it because we have the power of the light. Embrace our shadows, embrace those fears, and allow yourself to look at the tunnel and the light at the end of the tunnel. It's there. The door is opening. Allow yourself to go through it. Have a fabulous day, everybody. May the Lord and the Lady watch over and bless you. And I'll pull a tarot card for you all. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull this card. It's crazy. We're expanding. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with making money. Just saying. There's nothing wrong with making money. There's nothing wrong with creating the abundance in a beautiful life, right? It's in the direction on how we are creating that and how we are stepping into those creations. So it's, the power is neutral. Power is neutral, right? It's how we direct our power. Is how we direct our service. We're heading into a new direction, people. Whew. Heading into a new direction. We're moving away from something, but if you look at them, they're kind of sad. They don't want to be seen. Their backs towards us. It's like, oh, I don't want to look back anymore. I got to go into that new direction. Is it going to be easy? Is it going to be, we're going to be connecting. We're going to be connecting with a form of celebration and bring forth that celebration and the connection of the people that we want to bring forth into our lives. And that's all part of being of service. And with that, we'll be rising up. We're coming out of the grave. We're coming out of the coffin. But are you willing to take that leap? It's one thing of coming out of the coffin. They're all gray, because they've been in a coffin. So they're all gray. So here's this grayness and, everything is just like everybody's looking up and you're vulnerable and I'm gray. And am I willing to step out of this grayness and out of this shadow and step into my light and step in towards where I need to go? No, because I overthink things. What are you overthinking? Write it out. Trust me. I've been doing a lot of journaling lately. There's a lot of things going through my fucking head. That's for sure. And a lot of thoughts, a lot of worries, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God. All I can handle is this moment in time. I can't handle the future because the future is not there yet. All I can do is do now and be here. God bless, and the Goddess bless you all. I mean, Lord and Lady watch over and bless every single thing that you do and allow your light to shine and don't let anybody fuck you. Have a great one. And if you are wanting a 15-minute reading, definitely get a hold of me. It's $33.33. And hopefully I see you soon. Bye-bye, all. Talk to y'all soon. That's for sure. Bye-bye.